a question I've been asking myself for quite some time now is, State of Decay 3, this being a title that, got announced, and it was announced years ago, and we haven't gotten any further real news or indication of exactly what's going on behind the scenes over, in terms of development and things of that nature. I wanted to talk about, from what we know so far about State of Decay 3, is this a game that is going to be competing against The Last of Us? And I know seems probably very bizarre to a number of you because, the first State of Decay game and then even the second one, they obviously are designed in a certain way and it's completely different from, The Last of Us. Two completely different, style games. The Last of Us, I believe, is one of the greatest, games ever made, and for sure is the greatest PlayStation exclusive I've ever played. It overtopped Uncharted for me, another Naughty Dog game, but I really wanted to talk, though, about this comparison from State of Decay 3 and The Last of Us, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section down below. So let's talk about it. So obviously, guys, from that initial trailer, the teaser trailer we got for State of Decay 3, I got a lot of Last of Us vibes from it. From you seeing the zombie deer to from a graphical fidelity perspective, all of those things, it just feels like State of Decay and the folks over at Undead Labs and Microsoft are trying to raise the bar on this franchise. Now, I could be totally wrong that it's not trying to be the Last of Us killer. It's not trying to compete against The Last of Us. But from that trailer, I've been pounding this table, stating that this game looks like it's trying to compete with The Last of Us. And the reason being, The Last of Us being a PlayStation exclusive, and as large and as, popular as The Last of Us franchise is, Xbox is probably thinking to themselves, well, we want to have something that's going to compete against The Last of Us, something that our version of The Last of Us. What could that be? Could it be State of Decay 3? And I think that at least what we've seen so far from State of Decay 3, the indications for me are telling me that Xbox is taking an aggressive approach to create a game that's going to compete against The Last of Us. And it's interesting because if they were to do this with State of Decay 3, they would be going very far away, in my personal opinion, away from what State of Decay really is. Obviously, when we talk about the comparisons with these games, yes, basically a zombie apocalypse, things of that nature. But, the games are just fundamentally different in a number of ways. But could they start changing some of those mechanics, the gameplay, the story, and things of that nature slowly but surely with State of Decay and this franchise, making it more dark, more gritty, more all of those things to compete against The Last of Us and really get us to buy into the characters, to buy into the story, the setting, the legacy, all of those things. And I think it is absolutely a possibility. I'm not going to say it's for sure going to happen because no one knows, but I would just wanted to put it out there that State of Decay 3, in my mind, at least right now, until we see further gameplay and things of that nature, I believe it is trying to, that being Xbox and Undead Labs, they want to create something that's going to compete against The Last of Us. They want to have a game that is like The Last of Us, exclusive to Xbox. And I'm all for it because guess what? Competition breeds greatness, in my personal opinion. When I say that, what I'm saying is that when there's more and more competition that comes into the fray, it raises the bar for the next games that come out, typically from those development studios. For example, Call of Duty has been the biggest game in the world year over year for so long. But there are other games now that are coming out that are trying to compete against Call of Duty and just that, the player base and all of those things. Games like X Defiant. Obviously, CSGO is absolutely like just a juggernaut, right? Valorant is huge. But Obviously, games like CSGO 2 are coming out. You've got, X Defiant coming out. You've got all these different games that are now trying to really compete against Call of Duty. And so what that's going to do behind the scenes over at Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Activision, they're going to continue needing to raise the bar to create a fantastic experience for players, whether it's from a campaign perspective, multiplayer perspective, co-op perspective. They have to continue now to raise the bar because they set a standard and now others are trying to meet that standard. They need to stay ahead. And so I think that having competition is a great thing. If State of Decay 3 does end up being a competitor to The Last of Us, whenever we get The Last of Us Part 3, which I do believe is going to happen, we've been creating a lot of Last of Us content. You guys can check out all of that here on the YouTube channel. But when The Last of Us Part 3 comes out, you can imagine that, Naughty Dog is going to be feeling we need to raise the bar again, because if State of Decay 3 gets announced a number of years ago and we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they release something really special, they've been in the lab over at Undead Labs creating something really special that's going to be a competitor to The Last of Us, it is absolutely, in my personal opinion, going to be a very good thing for The Last of Us in terms of having, good competition, and then, they end up coming out with The Last of Us Part 3, and it could be something absolutely incredible. I think that is something that is very possible. I'm not going to say it's for sure going to happen. Could be a long shot. It's hard to say, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Is State of Decay 3 going to be a competitor to The Last of Us? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more State of Decay 3 content and videos, stay here with zrotv.